All right, welcome back to the Your Future Endeavors podcast. I am Diavolo,
I am Lunchbox.
and today we are bringing you a video about the one and only, the cerebral assassin, the King of Kings, Triple H, who officially and for some unfortunate circumstances has retired from in-ring competition. And so we think it appropriate to talk about his career and talk about some of his best moments and just do a little bit of reflecting on that. Um, so yeah, man. So growing up, Triple H was kind of like one of the main figures as far as like our era of wrestling growing up.
Yeah.
Definitely one of the best heels. Um, um, had a lot of great moments. I distinctly remember, obviously, the DX reunion um, with Shawn Michaels back. It was like what 2007, and they
Mm.
had a really good run, a couple tag team championships. Um, they had a really good feud with Randy Orton and Edge, Rey
Mm-hmm.
Mysterio. Um, obviously, him winning his 14th world championship. How even though that was kind of controversial at the time.
Yeah.
um, but yeah, I mean, I could go on and on and on. So Mr. Lunchbox, what is some of your favorite Triple H moments?
Um. First, I'll put the simplest one out there. His theme music is arguably the greatest theme that anyone's ever had coming out to Motorhead. Like you, you just get those chills when you hear "Time to play the game."
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
to this day, that I get goosebumps because I know some shit's about to go down. Somebody's about to get hit with a sledgehammer. Somebody's gonna take three pedigrees. Somebody's getting the double A spine buster. Like I know it's about to be good.
yep, definitely, definitely. I mean, Motorhead, obviously, just a great band in itself, but having them as your entrance music is like that just boosts your star power through the fucking roof. I mean, come on now. It's fucking Motorhead,
Right,
right?
class
Classic,
legends.
classic. Um, yeah, I agree with that 100%. Definitely one of the best entrance themes, and probably one of the best entrances as well. Um,
Oh yeah, as a little kid, you couldn't tell me you didn't take your water bottle and
yeah,
just spit water everywhere, acting like you were Triple H.
yeah. You probably pissed off your parents a couple times doing it, but fucking. But you definitely did that. Trying to be Triple H. I know I definitely have done that a couple times. Um, so
Yes. Um, Man, what is there that you can't say about him? I mean, I'm gonna get the negative shit out of the way because I know there's some people that say he had a golden shovel and he did this and he did that and he wasn't the best, blah blah blah. But I don't know, man. Especially when you look at his work with NXT,
mhm.
like he didn't make that all about him. He made it about up and coming wrestlers. He pushed them. He didn't go out. He always made them look as good as he possibly can, even in defeat. Like you were still looking at these guys and girls going, "Wow,
Yeah,
they're some of the best in the world." Wow, like
yeah.
his contributions to
You definitely
wrestling.
can't say that he doesn't care about the business because he was trying his fucking damnedest to build new stars,
Oh yeah,
and he
oh
succeeded.
yeah,
He succeeded in building stars that unfortunately Vince could not fucking utilize properly. But um, they're incredibly successful elsewhere. So, but yeah, you can't deny. Like I hate hearing that because I mean, yeah, like sure maybe he did in the past, but you you can't deny his work there, and it's like he has done so much to create a lot of talent,
oh yeah,
and
oh
and it's like you could list a lot of names, fucking Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, Finn Balor, you know, fucking Adam Cole,
Adam Cole.
Malachi Black, Johnny Gargano, Tommaso Ciampa. Fucking, I mean,
He,
there's so many stars. Samoa Joe. I mean, he was already a star beforehand, but he put his name even more on the map, joining NXT. Um, I mean, shit. There's so many people he helped go
oh,
from the indies to become bigger stars.
oh yeah, and I feel like a lot of them, especially some of the ones that have went to AEW, like Adam Cole, like I believe, like he was a great wrestler before he entered NXT, but Triple H helped him hone those skills
Yep.
and go from indie darling to megastar. Like I know he was a megastar because Vince was trying to offer him all types of money before he left for AEW. You know,
Yep.
I mean Vince's plans for him were fucking stupid, but
And
Triple H had crafted him and molded him, helped him mold himself into something that was he's arguably one of the hottest stars in pro wrestling today. You know,
yeah.
like
And to that same point, Adam Cole is probably next in line for the AEW World Championship. I mean, that's very likely. Um,
oh yeah,
and so that would speak a lot. I mean, considering how young that company is and how many people, I mean, they basically, there's very a handful of world champions there. You got Jericho, Moxley, Kenny Omega, and Hangman Adam Page, um, and all those guys, were there when the company started. Adam Cole would be the first person that was an outsider to win the world title there, which is huge, especially being there's only been a handful of world champions.
yes,
So to that same point, like he has helped him hone his skills to be a megastar, and the fact that he's gonna be able to go into a new promotion, having only been there for a short amount of time, potentially be a world champion, no matter
oh
how long
yeah,
the run is, that's fucking big. That's huge.
oh yeah, and you know it's people can't tell me he hasn't had an impact on modern day wrestling. I mean, excluding NXT and the great things he did with NXT, you look at the people and like since he announced his retirement, all these people from AEW that have went through NXT or have had experiences with Triple H, they're all like, "Thank you for all you did for me. How much you helped me. Like you did things for me that people will never know. You know, like he helped these people hold their craft and become, even if they were great in ring workers, he helped a lot of them become great character workers. You
Yes.
know, and it's he's an incredible person and like you know what he there's dozens of memories with Triple H, man. You can't deny it. Like all three of his matches with the Undertaker at WrestleMania are some of my favorite.
Yeah.
His Hell in a Cell matches are arguably the best Hell in a Cell matches there are
The
because
the
they were
one
just
that
violent.
the one that pops out to me immediately is the one against Mick Foley.
Yes, when he put Foley through the cage and it left a dent in the ring.
Yep.
Yes, there's that one, and there's his feud with Shawn Michaels that ended in
Oh,
Hell. They
yes.
just beat in each match they had. Triple H was going out there and putting everything he had on the line. Like
Hmm.
they would beat each other fucking senseless. And
Yeah, and to the same point, like he would get injured a lot. Like I mean, he's torn his quad off the bone, he's torn his pec off the bone, like, and he would come back like just like Terminator, like quickly rehab, like nothing happened. He'd come back like better than ever. He always would. Like, and speaking of comebacks with Triple H, you got to mention 2002 Madison Square Garden. Fucking, that's like a defining moment in his career.
oh yes, he like that's one of those moments that like will last a lifetime. It's not just one of the best Triple H comebacks. It's one of the best comebacks. Period.
Yeah.
Like
Like you could watch that now and it's just like it's definitely on the same level as like like a CM Punk in Chicago or like the Rock's return, surprise return to be like at WrestleMania,
oh
when he
yeah,
returned
when
on
it
Raw.
gets so
Yeah, the guest host. That was what I think of. Fucking, you put that on the same level. Whenever he came back, then it was fucking massive, and it just fucking sent him to new heights. I think. Um, yeah, he's definitely one of the best stars in the business, man. Fucking, hey, I don't know. There's very. I mean, I know there's a lot of people that'll say bad things about Triple H, but you hear from a lot of the talent nowadays. He's done so much for them.
Oh
You
yeah,
see it. You can't really knock the guy.
oh yeah, and honestly, I feel like maybe he could have played backstage politics a little too much, but a lot of it I feel like goes to you got to be a shark in that business, man. You
True.
you gotta have a desire to be at the top. You're constantly clawing, and I can't blame the man for doing everything he could to remain on top. You know, and and he
Yeah,
was very entertaining during that period where they said he was burying people. Well,
like like yeah, he was very entertaining. He's one of the best heels ever.
over here,
Is like and it's speaking of being one of the best heels, nobody hated this man more than Jim Ross.
I'll say to his guts.
God, every time he comes out, he's like, "God, that son of a bitch, that son of a bitch, Triple H." Um,
Not that, not the hammer. That why?
Why'd you do it? Why? You son of a bitch.
You motherfucker, you. Like, I'm telling you, if Jim Ross could have said motherfucker, he would have. You motherfucker. Like,
Yeah,
I'm telling you,
definitely.
it's like, and he's not just any heel. Like I feel like he's in rarefied air when you talk about Triple H as a heel,
Hmm.
because a lot of heels nowadays, their biggest issue is there's they get over with the fans. They fans like that anti-hero type thing.
Yeah.
Like none of them know how to truly get the fans to hate them. I feel like today, maybe the Miz. I mean, as weird as that sounds when you think about who the Miz is,
Yeah.
maybe the Miz and maybe fucking MJF, maybe the only heels that still get legitimate heat and people hate their guts.
Yeah.
Like I love MJF, but even me when I'm watching some of his promos, I'm like, God, I could punch him in the mouth.
Hmm.
And Triple H was that kind of heel. Triple H knew how to make you hate him. Like not the beloved heel, none of that. No. Like, yeah, he's a beloved heel now, but at the time you just fucking couldn't stand him. Every time his music hit, or every time you see Evolution out there, you just wanted to punch him in the mouth as hard as you could. You were praying that the other guy beat him. Like you wanted to see him lose, and that's just how good he was
Yeah.
at working a crowd. He knew how to make you hate him. You know, like even past Evolution and all of that. When he came in as the Authority, when Sting
Oh.
came in, people wanted to see Dolph Ziggler and all of them beat the Authority at Survivor Series so bad it wasn't funny.
Hmm.
People hated the Authority, hated them, and that's just how I feel like that's just another testament to how good Triple H was in that role. He knew what to do to make you hate his guts.
Yep. Yep. He did that so incredibly well, and I think anyone who is a heel or wants to play the role of a heel should study what Triple H has done. Because I mean, you just hated his guts. It was just like I couldn't imagine being someone like in the front row of a crowd that hates his guts, and then him spitting the water and and that shit getting all over you. Like, wouldn't you just want to hop the barricade?
Yeah, jump off and right there, dick punch it right in the dick, right before he gets in the ring.
But
Spit on me. Again.
and uh, to add to like how we were saying like he's just a really good person. Have you heard the story that Stone Cold said about whenever they were in the match and the fan came in the ring and Triple H just whooped his fucking ass?
No, I haven't.
Oh yeah, so I think they were in a match at like a house show or something like that, and a fan jumped the barricade and got in the ring and tried to attack Stone Cold, and Triple H just fucking whooped the absolute shit out of him.
Yeah, that's fucking hilarious. That is. But I feel like that shows you deep down he's a genuinely good dude.
Hmm.
And like like we keep saying, man, look at all the stuff he did before it became NXT 2.0. Like, look at NXT was the talk of the town for the longest. Like, when it came to wrestling, the biggest thing in wrestling at one point was NXT.
Yeah.
Like, right before AEW came around, like
It was.
NXT was the hottest ticket in town. Everybody wanted to be at an NXT show. Everybody wanted to watch Takeover because Trips and his crew always put on the best shows possible.
Yep.
Like, he found a way to make you care about every single match up on the card. Like, when's the last time you can say that about, like, and some people, some of them WWE fanboys might get mad at this, but when's the last time you can say that about a Vince McMahon card?
Yeah.
Like, I
Honestly.
can't even say that about the upcoming WrestleMania. Like, WrestleMania is a week away, and I can't say that I'm excited for every. Like, honestly, a good 75-80% of the match card, I could fucking care less about.
Yeah. The only things that I really care about at this WrestleMania are fucking obviously to see if Cody returns versus Seth Rollins because that'll be a great match.
Yes.
Edge AJ Styles will be a great match,
Yes.
and Roman Brock just to kind of see what happens.
Yes.
I'm
That's
pretty
about it.
I'm pretty sure that's just gonna be like a typical standard Brock Roman match. We'll see. I mean, um, but everything else like doesn't. There's nothing else that really stands out. Um,
No.
I don't even think the Intercontinental title is being defended. Speaking of, by the way, I saw a funny stat earlier that the Intercontinental title apparently has not been defended on pay-per-view since last WrestleMania.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know if it's true. I didn't fact check it, but I wouldn't doubt it because the Intercontinental title doesn't really get defended that much at all anymore. So
No. It's like Vince gave up on it. It's funny. One of the most prestigious championships in your company gets less TV time than the stupid 24/7 championship.
yeah, helped made prestigious by Triple H of all people.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Triple H was a great Intercontinental Champion.
Yeah.
Like, when he was the Intercontinental Champion and Austin was the heel
Hmm.
fucking world champ, oh, that was just beautiful.
Yeah.
Like,
Yep.
it was just amazing. And that's what I'm saying. Like, you look how we just had that short conversation about how we feel about WrestleMania. I can't say that I've ever felt that way about one of Triple H's takeovers. Like, even if the match didn't make sense to me at first, after the match was done, I understood why they went that direction.
Perfect example. Pat McAfee, Adam Cole.
Exactly. Like, I thought that was the stupidest idea in the world. I hated it. I was like, oh,
Yeah,
Trips.
I was
You're
not sure about it at first because I was like, huh, I don't know. But then what sold me on it was that I saw that apparently McAfee has his own ring. So I was like, huh. I mean, that's cool. Like that shows that you're kind of like committed to it. And then he came out there and put on a fucking hell of a match.
oh,
And in
yeah.
that recent
Like,
interview that Triple H did on Stephen A's World, fucking he gave a whole lot of props to fucking Pat McAfee because he's a really good in-ring performer actually. The two times he's been in the ring with the one-on-one against Adam Cole, I think it was Takeover 31, and then War Games. Um, hell of a match, crazy spots. Remember whenever he fucking jumped from uh, jumped to the top rope and hit Cole with a superplex, and then obviously the fucking the jump off the top of the War Games cage. Like he's a great performer, and I think he's deserving of a WrestleMania match.
I agree.
I
And
love Pat McAfee, man. He's a fucking awesome. He's fucking
he
awesome.
is. And what's good about him is, like, you got, this all goes back to Triple H. He's been under Triple H's tutelage
Yep. And
for
Triple H
how
saw something in him.
now? Triple H, and he's got a, honestly, like, I don't mean this in a morbid way. If if Vince passes on, Triple H should be the guy that takes over creative. I'm not talking about all the business side or nothing like that. There may be people who do better on the business side than him. But from a creative aspect, Trips should be the guy that runs it because
Oh,
he loves the business so much. When like there are people who say, "Oh, I've loved wrestling since I was a kid." I watched Triple H's documentary, and like he is more than just in love with the business. He is a student of the business. He knows. I think he might know the business better than he knows himself. Triple H loves professional wrestling.
indeed.
Like there's no doubt to it. Like Triple H, we've talked before. We both have a great love and appreciation for professional wrestling. Watching Triple H's documentary made me love professional wrestling even more. Like that was the side factors made me maybe a wrestler. That Trip Dan was connecting with me and like, yeah, that's how I feel about it, you know?
Right.
And he's just how many people can say that they love the business like that? Like, not many.
Not many. Yeah.
Like,
He definitely has a passion for the business that is incredibly different. Um, that you don't see in a lot of performers. But that's why he went to the top. That's why he's a 14-time world champion. You know, um, fucking, and it's just so many great things to talk about in his career. I think it would be remiss just like to not mention. So like I said, we kind of in our era of wrestling growing up, he was like a standout figure at the end of the Attitude Era towards the Ruthless Aggression era, and even in the PG era for a little while. Um, and I think like some of his best moments, obviously, you got to mention Evolution and DX in the
oh
sense that
yes,
because I think when it comes to like stables and factions, like he definitely knows how to put them together really well. I think that's a point you have to mention about his career as well. He's in two of the probably like top five, debatably top three factions of all time.
I agree with you 100%. The man is a master of factions. Like like Evolution was running through everybody when they first came around. Like, and it did more than just like people don't realize everything that Evolution did. Like it gave people the classic in Ric Flair. It gave them the current in Triple H, and it gave them the future in Batista and Randy Orton. Like,
Yep.
and Triple H handpicked both of them to be in Evolution because it was originally just Trips and what I remember, it was just Trips and Ric Flair,
Yep.
and Trips handpicked who he wanted for Evolution because he saw something in those guys.
Yep.
Triple H just has an eye for the business and factions. Like especially like you take the most recent one with Undisputed Era. Like
Yeah, I was going to say like his when that that knowledge goes into his creative work in the business as well. Undisputed Era,
exactly.
he made he made like people like Sanity on NXT was a big deal. Um,
Oh yeah,
I mean,
Hit Row.
Hit Row, yes, of course.
Yeah.
Fucking now like you got like Toxic Attraction in the women's division. Um,
Yep.
fucking yeah, I could can go on and on and on. Um, it's a lot of incredible things with factions. He just knows how to build a faction, and it like the whole rise and fall of Evolution is
Oh yeah.
incredibly great storytelling. Um, the great matches throughout. Obviously the betrayal of Randy Orton whenever he won the world title, because
Oh
it just speaks to Triple H's ego. Like it's really all about him. Um, like that was such good storytelling. The turn, the thumbs down, Batista dropping him on his head, fucking, um, they go on, they have a great match, fucking, and then Batista getting Triple H back the same way. It was just
yeah.
beautiful storytelling. I loved all of it. And
Oh
I
yeah.
remember like the Batista turn like definitely made him into a huge megastar, and being able to beat Triple H at WrestleMania like that, um, it just put him on a whole different level. This which once again you can circle back to say how much he loves the business and how much he can build new talent. He saw something in them. He probably had a really big hand in the creative storytelling of that process, and built two new stars out of that. Him and Ric Flair. It's
Oh, I agree.
incredible, incredible to say. You can't, and so there's a lot of people, like you said, will say the negative shit, like, oh yeah, he had a golden shovel. But he's built so much talent. He did it with Evolution. You know, he's done it on NXT. Like, how can you knock that?
Oh yeah, and not just them. Think about the Authority. Look what he did for Seth Rollins.
Yeah, and Moxley and Reigns.
Oh yeah, like like the Shield was already big, but then they feuded with Evolution, and it was one of the biggest feuds of that time.
Yeah,
And then with the one of the biggest heel turns of the last what 10, 10 years with Seth Rollins turning on Amber or Moxley and Roman, like nobody saw that coming.
right.
And like with the help of Triple H, it shot fucking Seth Rollins to the moon, man. Like his him working with Triple H and the Authority did wonders for him. Like people love to hate Seth Rollins,
Hmm.
and I can't help but feel like that a lot of that came from working with Triple H.
Yeah, there's
Another,
definitely a lot of Triple H in Seth Rollins. I mean, how many other people use the pedigree in their moveset?
not
You know,
many.
not many. So definitely
Like,
huge influences there. Um, think about what he. I mean, think about what he did for Daniel Bryan or Bryan Danielson.
oh yeah,
That turn on him at SummerSlam when Randy catched in,
mm-hmm. Oh,
fucking
oh
incredible.
yeah, like like your
Which really
heart
led to the
just set.
WrestleMania moment.
Heart, exactly. Like how many WrestleMania moments has he created? Like for
So,
Daniel Bryan, like
um,
uh,
he did it
okay,
for Roman.
for Roman, his matches with the Undertaker,
Yep.
like
Um, God, I think it was the underrated. I think man, so many matches to mention. Obviously Undertaker, Hell in a Cell, and then the first one before that. Most recently Roman Batista. That's an
Batista.
underrated one. Because he finally beat Batista. I believe his career was on the line in that match. Um,
Oh yeah,
I think he, if I'm not mistaken, he went 1-1 against John Cena. That was a really good match.
he did. Now that's another one that who was up and coming. Like before, I mean, Cena was pretty popular, but he was still fresh into his main event status when he faced Triple H. And I feel like facing Triple H shot him through the stratosphere. Like,
I agree.
like,
I agree. Because John Cena winning the title off of JBL was cool, and he was gaining a lot of momentum. But then he beat people like at WrestleMania, like Triple H and Shawn Michaels. And that really put him on that kind of same level.
oh yeah, and like Triple H has done a lot for a lot of young people. Like back 03 to 0, 03 to 05, Triple H was kind of destroying everybody.
I'm
But
gonna.
after that point,
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
like he was putting over a lot of young talent, putting over Batista, putting over Cena, uh, like like you said, putting over Bryan. Uh,
I want to mention this, and obviously, real life shit aside, just strictly talking about wrestling. The triple threat match, WrestleMania 20, uh, Triple H, Shawn Michaels, and Chris Benoit. When Chris Benoit won the world title, which led to, in my opinion, regardless of real life, one of the most beautiful moments in WrestleMania history when Chris and Eddie were hugging in the ring to end off the show.
oh yeah, like
That's an incredible moment to me as well, and Triple H has a hand in that.
I agree. And you know, a lot of people talk about how he buried so many people, but Triple H has lost way more at Mania than he's ever won. You know,
Yeah,
like he's put his shoulders down, and he's done the job for a lot of people.
indeed.
Uh, Seth is another one when Seth was coming back from his knee injury, and they had that match at 33.
Mhm.
Like he put over Seth, made Seth look good.
Yep.
Another one we ain't mentioned yet, Kevin Owens.
Yes. Yes. Whenever you helped him win the Universal Championship.
Yeah, yeah.
Mhm. Mhm.
Like,
Great moment because it was so great because he turned on Roman and Seth within like minutes of each other.
yep.
So good.
It was great. And Triple H is one of the best storytellers there is. Um, like I remember when was it when he RKO'd Stephanie McMahon and Triple H came out there and his face was just beet red and you could just
Mhm.
see the anger pouring through his pores and he looked like a man whose wife had just been attacked for real, like
Yeah. Yeah.
real deal. Like
He sold
I
the
was like, oh,
shit out of that.
like he sold the hell out of that. Like if I didn't know better, I'd be like, oh shit, that wasn't supposed to happen because
Mhm.
he looked like he really about to put them hands on Randy Orton. That does not look like he's playing. Or like his whole feud with Randy leading up to WrestleMania 25. Like,
Yeah, that their feud throughout their career was incredible. The feuds with Batista,
yep,
John Cena. Obviously, Shawn Michaels is probably the best one, in my opinion.
yeah, him. Like, you wouldn't know if you didn't know wrestling was scripted. You wouldn't know that him and Shawn Michaels didn't hate each other because they just beat the hell out of each other in each one of
Hmm.
their matchups.
They really did. They really did. Fucking. Oh, another thing I wanted to mention too, because I saw someone make this point. I wish I could have remembered their name, but fucking. Remember the moment where with the click where they like they broke the fourth wall or whatever.
Yeah.
After that moment, he was kind of buried for a little while, like for almost like a year,
Oh yeah.
and he just kept grinding. He just kept
Oh yeah.
grinding and grinding and grinding, and a lot of people don't mention that. Like he fucking, he took his punishment on the chin and fucking like
Oh yeah.
had one of the fucking greatest careers of all time, like a first ballot Hall of Famer for sure. If
Oh
he,
yeah. He had
it,
shit for a while there because he was supposed to win King of the Ring that year. They
hmm
had big plans in place for him, but because of that moment,
he
they
got
couldn't.
jobbed out.
Uh, yeah, Kevin Nash and Scott Hall were leaving. Shawn is your top champion, so you can't just bury him. So who gets all the heat? Triple H.
Yep.
And like, I mean, thankfully that happened. I mean, that might sound evil, but if that didn't happen, we wouldn't have got Austin 316, and who knows when Austin would have got his chance.
Right.
But like, still, he had to eat. He had to eat shit for like a year
hmm
before they started pushing him again. And people think that the only reason he got where he's at is because of Stephanie McMahon. No, it's because that man busted his ass. Like a lot of the locker room, and people don't know this. A lot of the locker room did not like the idea of him dating the boss's daughter because they felt like he was just doing it to put himself in a better position. So like he had to go talk to Undertaker and be like, "Look, man, I really care about this girl, and it's not just what these people are trying to say. I'm not out here just trying to get a push."
And it
And
shows.
he's like,
They've been together how
like
long and have three daughters? Like,
exactly like if it was what they said it was, why is he still with her? He could have easily left. He's made millions of dollars.
hmm
You know, he can live on his own. He can live peacefully for the rest of his life. He doesn't need to keep going with it. But it's not a sham. It's that's the actual woman he loves. and like he had to eat a lot of crow because of that. Like he got a lot of backlash from other superstars because of it, and like people
Yeah,
don't realize how hard he's busted his ass to get where he's at.
he took a lot of shit on the chin and busted his ass and just kind of kept his head down and did his thing and wrote out one of the greatest careers of all time. 100%. Easily.
I 100% agree.
14-time world champion. Fucking. It's like not many people are gonna get past that number. I mean, the only people ahead of him are Cena and Flair, and maybe Randy
Yep.
Orton will get there. So
Yeah.
fucking, you know,
We
go
all
crazy.
know Charlotte's gonna beat all their records.
Yeah, but I mean, does it really count? I mean, does it have this? Does it like have the same level of effect? You know what I mean?
Depends on who you ask. If you ask regular fans like us, hell no. Who cares?
Yeah. I
You
mean,
ask Vince McMahon, yeah, she's the most
it's like
accomplished champion.
I'm not knocking anyone's legacy or their career. It's like I've never won a world title, but fucking, it's like a lot of times like they 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 throw the it feels like they throw the title on Charlotte, and she's a great star, and she deserves to be champion a lot of times. But it feels like if speaking of golden shovels, sometimes it feels like if anyone has a golden shovel, sometimes it could be Charlotte. But that doesn't mean
I
that
agree.
isn't necessarily her and her personality. That just is booking. Like
Yeah, her
just
booking is terrible. Like,
like booking
shouldn't
makes
be.
her look like she has a golden shovel, but that's a conversation for another day. Fucking
Indeed.
um, but yeah,
That's another. That's
uh,
another one. Came up through the NXT. She didn't go through Triple H and his group.
yeah, you
Like,
gotta mention the four horsewomen. You have to mention that Bailey,
oh,
Sasha, Becky, and Charlotte.
exactly. Like
You
the
have
the
to
big.
mention them
Yeah, like they're the
because of
biggest.
Triple H. They changed women's wrestling.
Oh yes, like people till this day. It's been what years they still talk about Sasha Banks versus Bailey at the takeover events. Like
It's one of the best matches of the modern era,
I agree.
regardless of gender. Like just
I 100% agree.
just a hell of a match. And yeah, I mean we could talk about fucking NXT and takeovers all day. Takeover Brooklyn, obviously. Fucking, I
Yep.
mean, some of the best match. I mean, Champa Gargano. There's
Oh
two
yeah.
more names that I think we did mention them a little bit, but I mean that feud brought a lot of people back into wrestling. Like it kind of
Oh,
like helped propel NXT to a different level because this was coming after the time of like Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, those at like Seth Rollins, like all those names in NXT.
yeah.
Champa Gargano was fucking huge.
And then there was another
Probably
one.
the best feud of that decade.
I 100% agree. Another one of the matches,
Hmm.
Gargano and Andrade. Like
Oh my god.
when you talk about the best matches that come out of NXT Takeover, if Andrade and Gargano isn't in your top five, you're smoking some seriously strong stuff. Because that match was amazing. Like,
Adam
like,
Cole Ricochet.
oh yeah, Adam Cole Ricochet. Um, who else? Let's see. Fuck. There's so many matches. I feel
Alistair
like
Black Andrade.
Alistair Black Andrade. Alistair versus what's his name? He ain't been around in a while, so I forgot his name. Uh, the Prince wannabe.
Oh, Velveteen Dream.
Velvet Dream.
Because
Like,
he refused to say his name.
exactly.
Um,
Like,
and that I mean, regardless, I mean, he's a dog shit person, but Velveteen Dream was a fucking another name that became a huge star because of him through
yeah,
Triple H's system. He's obviously a bad person because of what he did, but he did become a household name.
I agree. A lot of them. I preferred when they were called the War Raiders.
Yeah.
Uh, I feel like Triple H's NXT revived or revitalized tag team wrestling. He made it
Hmm.
important again. He made people love it again. And I know some people will be like, well, we never gave up on tag team New Japan and all that, but you got to be honest. Most
Yeah.
people don't watch New Japan. Only us hardcore wrestling fans keep up on stuff going on in other promotions like New Japan and all them other smaller independent ones. Outside of WWE and sometimes even AEW,
Mhm.
like you
Mhm.
don't you don't look into them. Most, let's be honest, most wrestling fans only watch WWE because they don't. I don't know. They're just lazy or whatever.
Yep.
Like maybe they just don't. They're just casual watchers, and they don't have interest in looking into other programming. Um, but like most people don't watch them shows, so to them, tag team. A lot of people, tag team wrestling is dead, and Triple H and his crew new life into the tag team division for a while there. The
Yep.
tag team, like he was building up these great tag teams on NXT. They were going to the main roster. They were tearing down walls and raising all kinds of hell on the main roster. And
Mhm.
I mean, recently it ain't been as good since Vince has stopped caring about tag teams again. But
Yep.
for a while, the tag team wrestling was on fire.
Yep.
And
Yep. I mean, you think about some of the tag teams that have gone through NXT that are now huge, like even bigger names because of Triple H. The one that immediately comes to mind is the Revival, or now known as FTR.
yeah,
That's the biggest
yeah,
one. Debatably the best tag team in the world. You know,
agreed.
um, fucking, Sanity was a big deal. They put DIY, obviously. Um, fucking God, I mean, Undisputed Era. God, obviously, like O'Reilly and Bobby Fish put on some incredible matches.
Yep.
Um,
They had what was those big guys called?
the
Uh,
Authors of Pain.
Authors of Pain. Um,
Yes, Authors of Pain.
uh,
Fucking
there was the Vaudevillains.
yeah, the Vaudevillains.
There
The
was
Ascension.
the
Um,
Ascension, Enzo and Cass,
yeah, War
um,
Raiders.
War Raiders,
Mhm.
Street Profits.
Yes. God, Street Profits probably like the biggest up and coming tag team right now.
I agree.
Fucking
Is it, what was uh Chad
American Alpha.
Short American Alpha? Hell of a tag team. I
Yes.
mean, unfortunately, Jason Jordan got injured and can't, as of now, can't wrestle. But like, that was an amazing tag team.
Yeah.
Who else?
Again,
Uh,
I know there's more. I know there's more. I mean, um, even though it was for a short time, but they did. You think of fucking Matt Riddle and Pete Dunne, the
yeah,
Broguses. Yeah. Imperium. Uh,
Imperium. Oh yes, Imperium is beautiful.
yes. Even MSK. Really good
Yes,
tag team.
MSK.
Um,
Um,
we mentioned Hit Row. Um,
Ciampa and Gargano when they were
yeah,
a tag team.
yep, DIY.
Mm-hmm.
Fucking. I know there's more. I mean, we could keep going and going and going and going.
Oh yeah, they're like endless. Like he really breathed new life into that division.
Mhm,
And
mhm.
honestly, there have been other wrestling promotions that have had phenomenal female talent, but I feel like because of the way WWE presented its women, other women's divisions and other companies never got taken seriously.
Mhm.
Well, let's be honest, they got treated like they were the piss break on.
Yeah.
Like even though Impact had a great women's division like Gail Kim, and Awesome Kong, and fucking the beautiful people, like they never got taken seriously. But when Triple H implemented his ideas to the women's division on NXT, it flipped the game upside down because
Yep.
he allowed the women to go out there and show we can wrestle just as good as the men, if not better. Like,
Yep.
like
Charlotte, Becky, and Sasha going to the main roster. was incredible. Bailey coming shortly after that was amazing. Obviously, those
Yep.
four names are huge, and then you have to add in like the people after them: Rhea Ripley, Bianca Belair, Shayna Baszler, Io Shirai, Dakota Kai,
Oscar.
Asuka, um,
Uh, who
Kyrie
else?
Sane fucking
Kyrie
was
Sane.
incredible for a while. Um, Candice LeRae, Tegan Knox, Shotzi
Yeah.
Blackheart. I mean,
Yep.
there's so many great women's wrestlers that have come through there. And now you have like even like modern day. Now you have Raquel Gonzalez, great,
Yep.
great wrestler. Cora Jade's coming up through the system. Gigi Dolan's really good.
Yep.
Fucking there's so many names, so many names. He's
Uh,
helped change women's wrestling. That's put him on a different level. You know,
oh yeah.
now they've main evented WrestleMania, and some of the best moments ever
Yes.
created there. Um, you know, one of my favorite moments from last year WrestleMania was Bianca and Sasha before the match began. You know, them standing there just like soaking in the moment was really cool to see. And then obviously Becky becoming Becky Two Belts. Fucking
Yep.
It's like one of the like I mean she and she's like debatable. I mean, but probably behind Roman, the biggest star in the business.
I agree. I 100% agree. People. I mean, I've said this before. I'm not the biggest Becky Lynch fan, and it's not because of her heel work. I wasn't the biggest fan when she was a face either. But I can't deny her popularity. I can't deny the things she's done in the business and the changes that came because of her.
Hmm.
Um, like they did. He's done great with these young women. He's made them into mega stars, and like they have become just as important as the male stars. Like back in the day, think about it. If a woman's wrestler got injured and was off for some time and they came back, nobody cared. But now, when they come back, like one that pops up in my mind immediately is when Sasha Banks took those 4 or 5 months off
Yep.
and came back and attacked Natalia. Like people were when she came out, people were going nuts
Yep.
because she was returning because they missed her that much. Or like when Becky returned at SummerSlam last year,
Hmm.
like the pop that she got when her music hit.
When Bailey returns, she's gonna get the same thing.
Oh yeah, when exactly when Bailey comes back, when Asuka comes back,
Oh
they're
my
both
god.
gonna get huge fucking pops. And
Hmm.
a lot of that has to do with Triple H. And people don't, people are like, oh, why are you trying to give a man credit for what women have done? Like, I'm sorry. It's not that I'm saying that Triple H is the only reason they're great. No, they're in ring performer. They're great in ring performers already.
But his
But
hand of
Triple
guidance,
H,
and leading him through
yeah,
through his system, up into the main roster, gave them the opportunity to do that.
exactly. He through his tutelage, under his mentorship, and because he gave them the opportunity to show the world what um, they were capable of.
Hmm.
He gave women a shot where a lot of places wouldn't,
Indeed.
and
Indeed.
he, I think he brought. I feel like he helped bring women's wrestling to the forefront. Like
Yeah.
they're no longer just the backup to the guys. No, now they main WrestleManias now.
Yep.
Like
And no one's gonna take that diva bullshit anymore. No one wants to see
no,
that because now because of the change they made that change. They took the step away from that, and all that was dog shit, man. Although there were some stars made during that time like Trish Stratus and Lita, a lot of times they
yeah,
were like it was just really weird segments. Now you don't see that anymore. You see out there, I mean, it's like you think, I mean, obviously, like you could argue this match probably wouldn't have happened because of Triple H's change. Think about Britt Baker
yeah,
Thunder Rosa in AEW, that unsanctioned match. Is like, do you think without Triple H's change and like putting women's wrestling on the map and showing that they can do these things, they can main event WrestleMania, they can have hardcore matches, you know, fucking, maybe that match doesn't happen. That's a really good match. Like he's made a lot of influences and changes that trickle down into other things. And you really have to give him credit there. He's made he's made a lot of new stars in both men's and women's wrestling, and you cannot deny it, whether in ring
Oh,
or out of it.
oh yes. I feel like we're going to see Triple H's impact on wrestling, especially tag team and women's wrestling, for a long time to come. Um,
Yes.
um, because he done so much for them, and that's all the praise in the world, man. Like
Hmm.
we can just strictly talk about his work with NXT alone makes him one of the greatest to ever do anything in the business.
Yeah.
But then you go back to his in ring work and like when he was the cerebral assassin and would do anything to win and had some of the most violent hardcore matches you ever seen.
Hmm.
Um, like is
Yeah.
incredible.
He made the sledgehammer iconic.
Oh yeah,
Um,
like
it was like, and really, I mean, really with Triple H, he just checks every box, you know, like, he's a great in-ring performer. He's just a great wrestler overall. Great character, great promo, um,
yeah,
and he's created some of the most legendary moments of all time. Um,
yep,
winning world titles. We just talked about WrestleMania matches against Chris Jericho. Was it
oh
WrestleMania
yeah,
18 when he won the undisputed title?
I
Um,
believe so. Yeah,
it's like you have matches there. You have, God, I believe, I don't know if he won the Intercontinental title at WrestleMania or not. I can't remember, but speaking of matches when he won the Intercontinental title, um, fucking, obviously Undertaker matches, Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns, Batista, Shawn Michaels, goddamn, fucking John Cena. I think that's a really underrated one that people don't really talk a lot about, the John Cena match, because I think the like John Cena's biggest knock through like the that part of his career was that he couldn't really go in the ring with like the top dogs, and then he main evented with Triple H and Shawn Michaels that really changed the course of his career. Um, see who else, man. I mean, we can go on and on and on.
mm,
I mean, it was the wrong result, but the match with Booker T at WrestleMania was really good, regardless of result. It should have been Booker T who won, but it was a good
I
match.
agree.
Um, Man, I don't know. It's like, so do you have a favorite Triple H match? That's a good question.
Ooh, that's a hard one. Um, shit, that's a tough one because I like his three stages of hell match with Stone Cold.
Oh
Um,
yes.
when they ended it with him hitting Stone Cold with the sledgehammer and Stone Cold hitting him with the chair, and
Mhm.
he just the only reason he won was because he fell on top of Austin.
Yeah.
But like they just beat the pure hell out of each other, and like he didn't pin him. Like he just got lucky, and he was the one that fell down on top. Like
Mhm.
that's a good one. His match with Shawn Michaels at uh, SummerSlam, I think '02,
Yeah.
is a good one. His Hell in a Cell match with Shawn Michaels is good. Um,
Ooh. Hell in a Cell, the six way. Undertaker, Rikishi.
yeah,
God, with Kurt Angle, I think.
Austin. Um,
Yes.
I think The Rock was in there. Kurt Angle. Um, was that's another one of those classic matches.
Mhm.
Um,
His matches with The Rock.
his matches with The Rock, his matches with Taker,
Yes.
um, just all awesome. Fuck. Although, honestly, in my opinion, my favorite match at Mania with him and Undertaker is what is it? I can't remember which one it is.
Well, there's
It's either 17, 18, or 19, one of the two.
but
Well, I
the
think it
one
might
before
be.
before the Hell in a Cell and the one before that. It was the very first one, you mean? The very first one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was a damn good match when they were beating the hell out of each other all across the arena. And my favorite last ride ever comes from that match. When it's the first time, I think the first time that he did the last ride from the corner.
Yeah.
Triple H is just over him, beating the hell out of him. He's bloodied, and then he picks Triple H up and he lifts him up. But instead of just slamming him down, he comes down to his knees like he's using his full body weight to bring Triple H down to the mat, and
Hmm.
it's just a beautiful last ride. Like I wouldn't get my ass up either if somebody slammed me like that. Jeez.
Yeah, I know my
Like,
back would be on fire at that moment. Like
like,
I'd be done. I'd be like, all
like
right,
God damn.
match over. Let's go. Throw up the X.
Yeah. come,
Um,
come your ass over here and pin me. I ain't getting up.
one of my favorite things about Triple H is that he's got some of the best facial expressions.
Oh yeah, like
Like whenever John Cena returned in the Royal Rumble at number 30, and he turned around
oh
and Triple
yeah.
H is in the ring and he's just got his jaw on the fucking floor.
Like what the fuck?
He's like,
Or
why are you? He's like, why the fuck are you here?
yeah, like that one we mentioned earlier when Randy RKO'd Stephanie. Like
Yep,
his
yep. RKO
facial work was
Stephanie,
just like,
whenever he turned on Randy in Evolution, he went
yep.
from like a really good smile to the frown and the thumbs down. Um,
Um, when he tombstone Taker and Taker caked out.
yeah.
Um,
Oh my God.
like his
And
the look.
he's fucking hilarious, by the way, as well. Also,
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
one of my favorite segments of all time, probably my favorite, is whenever him and Shawn Michaels imitate Vince and Shane.
Oh yeah. Shawn's dancing around the
Like,
ring, acting
stop
stupid.
it!
Yeah, yeah. Oh,
Oh,
or or the moment when they changed the voice thing for Vince McMahon in the ring.
damn it, you
Damn
believe
it!
me? This is funny.
You believe my face? This is funny.
Oh my God. What about
Like,
the DX invasion of
oh yeah,
WCW? They pulled up on the arena in the tank. Oh my God, gotta mention that. That's a that's a hell of a
classic.
moment.
Right?
That is classic. Oh man, remember whenever they
Oh,
dropped shit on the McMahons and the Spirit Squad?
oh yeah. Oh, or that Hell in a Cell match when they hit Big Show with the hammer and he's hanging on the ropes and they pull down his tights and they just mush Vince's face into that big giant butt piece. Just
Yeah, yeah, they did.
I retired right then. I'd have never wrestled again. Nope. They
Oh
put my
man,
face in those giants' butt cheeks. What?
hell no.
Oh. uh, he is. He's hilarious, man.
He is hilarious.
Especially you get him with Shawn Michaels.
Oh my
Like you could tell he's genuinely having fun when they do that.
Remember
Like,
whenever Sean was like going crazy in the hallway, just super kicking everybody? He's like, "See,
oh yeah,
I just kicked Stan."
that's one of my favorite moments ever. Don't tell me to calm down.
That
Or
shit
like,
is fucking gold.
or when he was,
Gold.
he came when Shawn was coming back from his first loss to Undertaker at Mania, and he
Yeah.
super little girl.
Oh yeah, in the fuck was it in the fucking restaurant?
Yeah, and all you see is salad flying. Like him and Shawn Michaels and the rest of DX put on hilarious moments.
Oh yes.
Like he knows how to get you to laugh. Like,
Hmm.
and that just speaks to the man, the kind of character work he can put in. Like, you need him to be a heel, he can do it. You need him to be a face, he can do it. You need him to be a clown, a comedian, he can do it. Like, I
Right.
feel like he's a jack of all trades, man. Like,
Definitely.
anything you need Triple H to do, Triple H can do it.
I agree. 100%. 100%. It's just, and it's a shame what happened had to be the end of his career, right?
I
Um,
agree.
but man, uh, got a hell of a career, hell of a man. Um, if I had to say, like, I don't know if what is my favorite Triple H match?
It's a hard one, isn't it?
It is very difficult to pick. It is incredibly difficult to pick. Um, hmm,
Um, his match with Jericho was pretty good.
yeah, that one comes to mind.
His
Obviously,
match with
Taker.
Foley is definitely good.
It's like I want to think about like something that's kind of like underrated. Like, what's a really underrated Triple H match?
Underrated. That's a good one. Um, him versus Randy wasn't so bad. The only issue with him versus Randy at WrestleMania was that he had to follow Shawn Michaels and the Undertaker, and that shit just took all the air out of the arena. Fans were tired at that point. Um, the same with his match with Jericho. A lot of people say that the match sucks because the crowd wasn't into it, but they also forget that same night Hulk Hogan versus The Rock was on, and the people were going ham and nuts the whole time for The Rock and Hogan. By the time they got to Triple H versus um, Jericho, the fans were just exhausted. But
Ooh, I thought of one. I thought of one that it's. You remember? I want to say it's Unforgiven 2007, the Fatal Four Way for the WWE Championship. It was Edge, Orton, Cena, and Triple H.
ooh, that's a
Or
good
no,
one.
or wait, no, it was it? Or maybe it was Edge, Triple H, Cena, and Michaels.
That might be it. That's a good one.
I can't remember. Hold on, I can't remember exactly.
His match with Brian Danielson at Mania is pretty good. Um, I think that one gets overlooked a lot because of what happened later in the night with Brian winning both championships to close Manias.
Yeah, that's that match because it was the first match of the night, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Um, shit.
Let's see. Let me see. Trying to think. Oh, Great American Bash, versus Edge. I think 2008.
Good one. That's a good one.
That's a really good one.
Um, what's another one? Damn, he's got so many, and so many of them are already good.
Versus Umaga. That's another one. He got a pretty good string of matches with Umaga.
He did indeed. Um, his match with Batista was actually pretty good. Their first WrestleMania match, it was it 21.
Yeah, when Batista
Yeah,
won the world title. Yeah.
that was a pretty good match. His Hell in a Cell with Batista is pretty good.
Yes, that was really good. Um, oh, versus Kurt Angle at the Royal Rumble. I don't know if we mentioned that. Was that
No, we didn't, but that's a good one.
that's what 01?
I think so.
Yeah. Um, I know we talked about Cena and Triple H the WrestleMania match, but remember when they went against each other at Night of Champions?
Is that is that the one Trips won? I think.
I believed it is. Yeah, no, yeah, because he retained the title that night.
Yeah, I remember because I was excited about that match because I was like, Trips could get his back from losing to Cena at Mania. That was a pretty good match.
Yeah, I think that was yeah, that was '08.
His triple threat match with Cena and Shawn Michaels was pretty good.
Yeah.
When Shawn Michaels started the match by super kicking Triple H out of the ring.
Yeah, that was at the Royal Rumble too, I believe.
Was it? I think you're right. It was damn good.
Yeah, damn good match. Damn good match. 'Cause I think they were both still in DX at the time, so like that kick like established just like, yep, it's every man for himself. This is a world title.
Oh yeah,
um,
yeah, because they were both facing John Cena like they were about to jump him, and out of nowhere, Shawn Michaels put a little bit of that sweet chin music on him, and that was the end of that.
and he fucking
Uh,
skyrocketed out of the ring. He fucking went straight through the ropes, fucking tumbling to the outside.
oh, another one is No Mercy. I can't remember what year it is, but him versus Jeff Hardy. Um, that was a pretty good one. Jeff
Him,
didn't win there, but Jeff would go on to Armageddon, where he would beat
the triple threat,
both.
like with
Yeah,
Edge. Yep.
he would beat both of them. That was a pretty good one.
Another person whose career he did wonders for. He's got his fingerprints on that. Jeff Hardy won his first world title right then, or his first
Yep.
WWE championship. So that's huge. Um, I mean, there's so many moments we could keep talking about. Fucking his work with China stuff obviously goes under it. Obviously, you know what happened between them is what happened between them with their work in ring. Fucking amazing. Um, gosh,
No, we mentioned this match earlier, and it doesn't get talked about much because of the events that happened later. But his match with Shawn Michaels and Chris Benoit was a
yeah,
damn good match,
that
and
was
I
absolutely
feel like
amazing.
it falls into that category of doesn't get talked about a lot because of what happened with Chris Benoit later on. And
Yeah,
anybody listening, we don't condemn or condone what
yeah,
happened with Chris Benoit in no shape or form. Like
absolutely.
that, really dark, real evil, and that was just real messed up, and it shouldn't have happened. An innocent woman and a young boy lost their lives that day, and it's real bad. But when you're just looking at the match from a wrestling perspective, take away all the stuff that would happen and just look at it as pure wrestling, it was one hell of a match.
Because it was a huge moment.
Yes.
Fucking yeah, you know the I think what Sean was a fucking bloody mess. Triple H was a bloody mess, and him tapping out to the crippler crossface at the end, and then Chris and Eddie hugging it out with confetti falling down at the end of the show was just one of the most beautiful moments of all time.
I
Um,
agree.
it was just fucking just crazy, crazy moment. Um, one of my favorite moments, regardless of what, just strictly like wrestling wise, because Eddie's one of my favorites. Um,
Yeah.
so fucking incredible. And his his fingerprints is on that moment. That moment doesn't happen without that match. Um, shit. Let's talk about the obvious ones as well too. I mean, obviously, like the Triple H Undertaker matches, because they are some of the best matches of all time, regardless of being WrestleMania matches, just best matches of all time. And
I agree.
I think that Hell in a Cell match was just really good icing on the cake. You know what I mean? Um, him in that match with Sean being the special guest referee, just culminating that kind of whole story, um, was incredible. Sweet chin music into the pedigree, and fucking
Uh,
Taker kicks
I
out
swear,
at the literal like last pube hair of a second you could have had of fucking just kicks out, and Sean losing his mind. Like, oh my god,
oh yeah, man.
great
When
contest.
it happened,
Yeah,
like when it happened, I was sure it was over. I was like, "Yep, the streak's over. It's it's done for." Um, but like, no, man, that moment was like that moment sent chills down my spine because I was like, "What else can these people do to each other?"
hmm
Like, because they were hitting each other with chairs and sledgehammers, and just beating the unholy hell out of each other, and it's like, gee, you dudes are all pushing 50. Y'all better slow down.
Yep. Yep.
Like,
Yeah,
like
great match. It's like those two matches were so brutal. Fucking, um, whenever he spine busted Undertaker off the steps through the table, through the announce table.
oh yeah, that was nasty.
That
And
was
then
nasty.
he put him. He ran him. Did he spear him or tackle him through Michael Cole's little cage thing?
I want to say he did. Yeah.
I remember them breaking it. I just can't remember how. I think he tackled him through it.
Yeah. I want to say you're right there. I need to go back and rewatch that match now that we're talking about it.
I,
Um, but yeah, just some of the most incredible matches of all time there. We talk about his match with Batista, obviously, making a huge star there. But I mean, just like in general, just regardless of fucking um, what it did for Batista, it was just a really good match. Um,
yeah. Um, like I know we've mentioned a couple times, but his matches with Jericho, always good matchups.
Kurt
Um,
Angle, those were
Kurt
always good
Angle,
matches.
his matches with The Rock, always good matches.
Mm,
I don't think I've ever seen him do anything bad with Stone Cold.
nope.
Um, I mean, if you ask Bret Hart, he swears Triple H has never had a good match because Triple H isn't as good as he is, and he just needs to get over his own.
Triple H is an incredible wrestler. Like,
I agree.
yeah, you can't deny that. One of the best performers the business has ever seen. Fucking God, I just want to keep thinking and talking about moments and matches of his.
Speaking of moments, how about the before the WrestleMania 27 match when Undertaker was returning, and they had been teasing it for weeks.
Yeah.
Um, of the Dead Man's return, and then he actually shows up and he's in the ring. The big Undertaker logo is up, and he goes to speak, and then time to play the game hit,
Oh yeah.
and fans go ballistic.
Mhm.
They didn't say one word. They just both looked at the WrestleMania sign. Undertaker did his little slash throat thing. Triple H hit him with the suck it, and
And
the
it
rest
was.
was history.
Yep.
Like they didn't say one word, and they set up one of the biggest WrestleMania matches of all time.
Yeah, that was an incredible moment. I forgot. I completely forgot about that. Um, yeah, that was incredible. They, like you said, they were teasing it for weeks, and his music just hits, and the crowd went ape shit. Um, Goddamn, fucking. Let's see. So in your opinion, here's a good question. Where do you rank Triple H among the greats? I know we've kind of done a video about this, but now that his
Ooh,
career is fully wrapped up, where do you rank Triple H among the greats?
ooh. If we're including his entire body of work, that means even the stuff that he wasn't in, like NXT.
Hmm.
Um, I feel like I have to put him top 10. He might be top 5. I'm not quite sure, but he's definitely top 10.
Yeah,
Um,
I agree.
for his work with NXT and young talent alone. Like he's forever changed the way the business works, especially for women. It,
Yes.
like he has changed women's wrestling forever, or he has had a big hand in changing women's wrestling forever. Let me correct that before somebody gets mad at me. It wasn't all Triple H. I know, but he. I feel like he played a big part in it because of what he was doing with women in NXT. Um,
His system allowed them to do the things that they did.
Exactly. He gave them the opportunity to show Vince and the higher ups that, hey, we're not just the bathroom break. We can be the main event.
Hmm.
And I think him giving them that opportunity and working with them um, changed the way people look at women's wrestling forever. Um, what he was able to do with tag team wrestling and make it relevant again. I know a lot of people will say it was AEW that did it. No, Triple H and NXT put tag team wrestling back on the map.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that Triple H's NXT tag team matches were better than the tag team matches AEW is putting on. Not at all. What I'm saying is that Triple H put tag team wrestling back in the spotlight where people want to watch tag team wrestling again. And people are invested in tag team wrestling again. And I think that speaks volumes about who he is. And he's just an incredible dude, man.
Agreed.
Like,
Agreed. Yeah.
I feel like he's really changed the future of wrestling.
Yeah. I really hope, like, after, like, obviously with the health scare and everything, like, once he gets more healthy, he can get hit more hands-on back with, like, the storytelling and creative and whatnot. Because it's sorely missed. Because obviously he's had to take a step back because of the health. And it's like WWE needs Triple H's fingerprints on their storytelling, on their creative. They need that, um, desperately, desperately. So, yeah, it's so the impact he has. Like when you compare from years ago to now, like obviously with him not being there as much, you can just the impact, like, and the difference is just so huge. Um, so hopefully, I mean, and speaking of, we talk about how he has a mind for the business. We were talking about potentially him, with everything happening with NXT, maybe even purchasing Ring of Honor. We were like, that would be awesome if that happened. As like a fan speculation, it goes to show like you want him anywhere in the business. Goes to show the impact. Um, but I would really like to see him get back in control of NXT because I'm not the biggest fan of this new paint splatter NXT. I'm really not. Um,
Yeah, me either.
it's just when you compare from the last couple eras of NXT, it's not as it doesn't stand out nearly as much. Like
oh yeah,
I used to look forward to whenever NXT was coming on, and now I'm just like, you know, like
I
I'll,
could
I'll
give it or
probably
take
catch
it.
I'll probably catch the highlights.
Yeah. I can take it or leave it. I don't really need to watch NXT anymore. But
I
when
go out of my
Triple
way
H
to
was
watch
running it,
AEW.
when when Trips was running NXT, it was not miss. You had to see it.
Yeah, yeah.
Like if you didn't watch it, you were going to miss something. And
And I think a perfect example of like his mind for the business when it comes to like putting on good matches, creative and storytelling and everything. And we could tie it in with women's wrestling as well. One of my favorite matches from the last few years in NXT was Team Ripley versus Team Baszler War Games
yeah,
because there were so many elements to that match. It's like Shayna Baszler was on this incredible run. She had her crew. Rhea Ripley was getting pushed at the time. There was this tease attention with Dakota Kai, and all of these elements came to in one match. And you had really great performers in there. You obviously had Shayna Baszler, you had Bianca Belair, you had Kaylee Ray, Io Shirai, Rhea
yep.
Ripley, Candice LeRae, um, fucking, and obviously Tegan Knox and Dakota Kai. They didn't go into the match because of the turn, Dakota Kai's heel turn. Um, and Team Ripley 2v4 ended up winning the match. It was one of my favorite matches from an NXT Takeover. Um, just because of all the story elements, and it set up so many things for down the road. Um, they were telling that Tegan Dakota Kai feud for like a year, some down the line. So, um, I think that match had, I don't know, that match just really stands out to me. I think it has a lot of elements of like what he brings to the table, just encompassed in one match.
Um, I agree. And one thing I don't think we've mentioned yet is his ability to adapt, to change when it's needed. not only just in his personal career, but with NXT especially. How many times would Triple H build up the roster on NXT just for Vince to come in, take all his top stars away, and he have to start at ground zero again, building somebody else up. But he never failed to do it. He always made you care about the next guy coming up, and
You know, from
it was
guys
incredible.
from when it starts from fucking Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns, and Dean Ambrose, now John Moxley. It goes down to fucking Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn. They get called up. Now you have to, push new stars. Then comes probably the greatest era of NXT, debatably with the likes of Andrade, Johnny Gargano, Tommaso Ciampa, Aleister Black. Um, so many great matches, and then obviously you'd be remiss to fucking not mention Bailey, Charlotte, Sasha, and Becky. Um, all these people that come up through the system, and then Adam Cole, Kyle O'Reilly, Keith Lee, Karrion Cross, Pete Dunne. Um, so many so many people now.
Oh,
Swerve is probably one of the most underrated wrestlers in the world right now. Fucking so many names. There's so many names. Io Shirai, um,
Shinsuke.
Shinsuke Nakamura. Yes. Oh my, how do you forget that? Um, Drew McIntyre. Even though he was short, he came back in with the
Um,
NXT Championship. Fucking Rhea Ripley, Shayna Baszler,
uh,
um,
Bobby Roode.
Bobby
When
Roode. Yes.
he was still in NXT and you actually still cared about him.
Yeah.
Um,
Whenever
uh,
he was actually having an incredible run there.
Pac, or as he was known at the time, Neville.
Yes.
Uh, he also came up through the NXT. Um,
You know,
who else?
he helped put Samoa Joe's name on a mainstream stage.
Yep.
Fucking
Liv Morgan, I think, came up through NXT, right?
Yep.
I believe so.
Yep. Came up through NXT. Ruby Riott also, or Ruby Soho
Yep.
now. Um, Tegan Knox, great wrestler. Shotzi Blackheart.
Yep.
You know, name. I think I said Io Shirai, but she's probably
Yep.
debatably the best women's wrestler in the world. Um, fucking God, I can. I feel like we could go on and on for days. Ricochet.
For hours. Like,
Um, yeah, Ricochet is another name, and now I love now that he's getting a chance with the Intercontinental Championship, even though he lost 2 times the other night for some ungodly reason. Um, but that's not here nor there. That has nothing to do with Triple H.
yep.
Fucking fucking Velveteen Dream was a huge name, regardless. He's a dog shit person, but you know, I digress.
Yeah.
Um, Damian Priest.
Damian Priest is another one.
Yes.
Um,
Got Finn Balor.
oh, yeah. How the hell did I forget about him?
Yeah, I mean, obviously Finn Balor was, a big name before, but getting into a mainstream stage, Triple H helped put him there. Um, Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens, we mentioned. Um, I feel like
So
I feel
many.
like I'm missing people, but I feel like I've gone through a lot of names.
Um, there's so many you could name. Um, was it Tyler Breeze? He was one of them.
Yeah, Tyler Breeze, big name,
Him,
big name.
him and Fandango had that tag team where they were the champs.
Big E.
Big E is a whole other one.
Yeah.
Um,
Um,
I believe we've already mentioned Seth,
yeah.
Moxley, and Roman. All three huge names
Some of
in
the biggest.
WWE and outside of WWE.
Yep. Yep. Um, God damn. And you think about
Otis is another one.
yeah, Otis. Yeah. I mean, yeah, definitely had a really good run there for a while. Shit. Who? The Revival, FTR. Um, fucking.
Uh,
I think I said Swerve, like, because I think Swerve
yep,
is the most underrated wrestler in the world right now. Um,
I agree.
I think he just checks every fucking box. But that's not here nor there.
Nope.
Fucking. Oh, I knew I was forgetting somebody. Walter.
Yes, he,
Fucking Walter.
he he's turned Walter into a monster.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I haven't seen a dominant heel like that, just a big monster guy, and quite some. I mean, I know Vince is trying to do something similar with Omos on Raw, but it just ain't clicking. Like,
No, it's definitely not the same.
I, I mean, honestly, Omos is this generation's Khali.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
just
he's
putting it out there.
Matt
He's
Riddle.
trash. Nobody wants to see him.
Matt Riddle. I almost forgot. Matt Riddle as well.
Yep, Matt Riddle as well. I and just think about all the names we've named in this podcast.
Yeah.
How he has personally played a factor in all of them coming up.
Yep. He has created some of the biggest stars of the modern era. You know, or if not created, he's just helped stars that were already, you know, blooming, just
Yep.
help them along. He's guided them along. His fingerprints is all over the business right now. And like you said, his impact is going to be felt for years to come because all the lessons that these people have learned from Triple H are going to be passed on. You got to think about that as well. Like that knowledge that he has is going to be spread. Um, I mean, there's just so many things we could say. There's so many names. Um, I just feel like at some point we're going to start repeating ourselves. Fucking. So, I guess to end off, let's see here. What do you think the best era of Triple H is?
Ooh.
Like, what stage
Um.
of his career do you think is the best? Let's break it down to, whenever he was, old Frenchy boy, old proper dopper Englishman, whatever fucking out coming out, to, the DX era, Evolution era. Um, you break it down as like what era of Triple H do you think is the best?
Um. That's a good question. Cause I mean, there's his early days as Mr. Fancy, as you said. Um. Geez, that's a good question. Uh, my in my opinion, oh man, it is hard. Cause do we include Triple H's NXT era,
I think
or we just going in ring wise?
I think strictly for in ring.
Okay, in ring wise, I would have to say um, the end of Attitude Era, early Ruthless Aggression Era.
Yeah.
I think Ruthless Aggression Era Triple H is the best when he was working with Evolution and he was a top heel and held the belt for so long. I think that's the best era for Triple H because a lot of his great matches came during that time. His first WrestleMania match with Taker, his Mania match with Jericho. Um, like you said, the wrong person won, but his Mania match with Booker T. Um, like I feel like for me at least, that was the first time we were really seeing him on like who he was. You know,
Yeah. I
that
agree.
was him stepping away from his DX days. That was him stepping away from that Helmsley McMahon thing.
Mhm.
And it was the first time that he got to flourish out his character and who he wanted to be. And like he became one of the most monster heels of all time. I don't care what nobody says. He was an amazing heel during that era.
Indeed.
What about you, my brother?
Um, I think it's really hard to pick against that. I think it's really hard to pick against the Evolution era. That into Attitude era, Ruthless Aggression era, Triple H. Um, you really can't knock that. I think it's hard to pick against that. So I think that one's mine. But I think if I had to pick a close second, just for the sake of being different, I guess, I think um, I have to go with his DX run. It's like and every like the, and all of that encompassed like fucking for whenever like Shawn Michaels was the leader to whenever he took over to whenever like all the reunion like all his work with DX. I want to say like like those eras of Triple H are probably some of my favorite as well, just because really great matches, really good storytelling moments. Obviously, the moment with the tank and all that. Um, the Vince McMahon Mike moment. There's so many there. I think that's a really close second for me. But I would also pick Evolution because, like you said, to your point, fucking it really helped. It was the first time he was really able to like flourish out and flesh out his character and really like cement himself for who he was and becoming that monster heel. Um, so yeah, I think that's definitely the best era of Triple H for sure.
I can see why. And you know what? That would be a close second for me. I can agree with that. Um, um, I feel like in his DX era, he was able to be more himself,
Hmm.
who I feel like he is in real life. The 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 goofball, funny guy,
Yep. Yeah, I agree.
cracking jokes. Yeah, that I feel like that's more who he actually is, and not just the character he wanted to play. So I can see that.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. But Evolution is definitely, in my opinion, the top notch era for Triple H. I mean, there's so many great things that happened during that time, and Evolution's. I think we mentioned in the Scott Hall video that behind NWO, they're best factions of all time. You put NWO, Evolution, probably DX after that.
Yep,
Um, and so yeah, I just that it's just a legendary run.
I
So,
agree.
um, but I think if you wanted to also mention like really underrated times, like obviously like his run towards the end, well, not really end of his wrestling career, but up until like the end of an era, where like the 2008 through like the 2012, like that those years were pretty damn good as well. He was putting on some really good matches with a lot of people. Um,
That's true.
and had some really good runs as face and heel as well. I think there's that second DX reunion in there, you know, and there was matches with the likes of Jeff Hardy, Edge, Cena, obviously, Orton, Umaga. Listen, lots of really good matches. He had some really good title runs during that time. I think that's a really good era for him as well. But his whole body of work, really. I mean, there's not a whole lot of negative things you could say about him in ring wise. Like I can't think of a thing like whenever I think of like oh like what's a low point of somebody's career, I have a hard point of picking one for Triple H. I guess like
I agree.
aside from injuries and stuff like that, like but that's that. I just think like everything that he brings to the table has been so good.
I agree. I think he's one of the all around best wrestlers. I mean, like you said, usually when he's having a bad moment in his career, it's usually because of an injury,
Yeah,
not because his in ring work has fallen off or something like that. Like even that dumpster fire with DX versus the Brothers of Destruction,
yeah,
like he got injured in that match. He tore his pec off and like crippled up Shawn Michaels and Undertaker and
yeah.
Kane's old ass were trying to carry the match, and
Something about Saudi Arabia.
yeah, it just wasn't working. But like he's just a great man, and while it's going to be sad to see him retire, and I'm going to miss hearing the theme music and watching his brutal matches and all of that. I think he's had a great career, and he deserves to retire if he wants to.
Yeah,
I know that this is probably more medical reasons of retiring than him wanting to retire, but I feel like it was getting close anyway because what he hasn't competed at the last two WrestleManias,
yeah. I want to say
uh,
that's right. Yeah,
and he hasn't wrestled in a while. And I know he said Vince had plans for him to wrestle at this year's Mania, but it wouldn't have shocked me if those players got cut as well, because he's kind of taken a back seat, and it was I kind of seen his retirement coming anyway,
Hmm.
but like now that it actually has, I mean, good for him, man. He's had a 30-year career, and it's been great, and
Yep. Yep. And I think he'd be the perfect person to like headline the Hall of Fame next year. I know we went in with
I
DX, but
agree.
I don't think he's gone in solo yet. So, um, I think he'd be the perfect person to headline for next year. Um,
I
yeah.
agree.
So yeah, yeah. And what other person to fucking induct him than Shawn Michaels,
Oh yeah,
right?
no, nobody else can do it. It has to
Nobody
be
else.
Shawn. Just like with Undertaker, it has to be Vince.
Yeah.
With Trips, it has to be Shawn.
It's like I don't know how
Like
I'm gonna handle being able to see the Undertaker cry. I feel like he's gonna tear up and choke up on that stage, and I'm like, damn, like this is like he's an actual person, you know.
yeah.
it's still
So
it's
he's not undead.
it's still weird to see him like out of character, you know.
It is. It really is because of how much he's protected the character over the last 30 plus years. It's like, that's weird. Stop doing that.
Yeah, it's like are you or is this just a new gimmick? Like
Like, I
Is
agree.
Michelle in on this? But nah, man. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think it'd be proper to end off and say that Triple H, obviously one of the greats, like you said. Um, he he'll be sorely missed with his in-ring performances. Hopefully, he can get back in on the creative side of things soon, whenever he makes a recovery. And and yeah, man. So thank you, Triple H. Thank you for your career and everything that you've brought to pro wrestling. Um, fucking, you brought us like I know for me personally, speaking for me personally, you brought me some of my favorite moments of my childhood. So um, I appreciate you for that. Um, and yeah, man, thank you, thank you.
Yeah, yeah. Same here, man. Like, you've given my childhood is filled with memories of your matches and your promos, man. You've you've brought me so much joy over the years, whether you're winning or you're losing. Like, you've always been able to grab my attention with your matches and your storylines and your love for wrestling and what you did with NXT. Like, I've gained a great love and respect for you, man. Like, thank you. That's really all I can say is thank you for the years and years and years of great memories.
Agreed. Agreed. Um, so yeah, so yeah, thank you, Triple H, and that's it from us, guys. So um, we are the Your Future Endeavors podcast. I'm Diavolo.
I'm Lunchbox.
Thank you for tuning in. Um, and we'll see you in the next one. Hopefully here within a couple days, actually.
Yeah,
It's like I'm
I
trying to
hope
get
so.
this one up as soon as possible. In the next couple days, look out for our top 10 video. Probably gonna be doing top 10 current male stars. I think it's what it is.
Yeah.
And so yeah, so that'll be the next one. Look out for that. And
All
we'll
right.
see you then. Take it
See
easy,
you
guys.
next time.